In order to use the software more efficiently, you'll want to set up customer accounts in your software. These would be customers that you do business with on a regular basis, and so you'll want all their information already preset in the program. To set up a customer, you're going to go to POS and choose Customers. In this customer screen, the only field that really has to be filled in would be the name field. So we'll fill in the name of the account. Now, many of the types of customers that you're going to be putting in here would be insurance companies, collision shops, dealerships, real estate management companies, other businesses that you do work for on a regular basis. So for your insurance companies, there's a lot of different ways that people do it. Now, of course, most of the auto insurance is billed through either SafeLight or Links. So the tendency might be to put in just one account for Links and one account for SafeLight. However, because each of the companies that they represent have different pricing structures, it's really best in the system to put in each individual insurance company that you're going to be billing for. So for instance, if we wanted to set up for State Farm, we could just put in State Farm. Some people like to put it in as State Farm-Links. However you want to put it into the system so that you can find it more easily when you're looking for them. The second name line, again, does not have to be filled in, but you may need to fill that in if you want to put something to the attention of somebody, or there's a division or department that things need to go to when you're mailing to them. The address information, again, can be filled in. For your insurance companies that you're billing, this isn't necessary because you're billing electronically. The contact would just be the name of a person that you might contact at that particular company. The email address can be filled in with an email address that you might send invoices to. The account field is one that can be used. The Main Street software does not normally use account numbers. However, if you had a previous system that did use account numbers and you're used to using account numbers for your different customers, you can type in those account numbers and you can pull up customers by that account number. The phone fields can be filled in. The rep would be the sales rep at your company who might call on this customer. So you can pick from the list. If this list is empty or the rep that you're looking for isn't in there, you'll want to go under Admin to the Employees section and set up that sales rep. The route and sequence fields are for the sales rep. There are reports in Main Street that allow them to print out a particular route and then sequence it in the order. And this would just be if they have certain customers that they're going to see on a certain day, they would set them up all on the same route, and then the sequence would just be the order that they're going to call on those customers. The Insured's field is a feature that was never fully developed. That would just be for if you had a insurance agent and you wanted to kind of keep track of approximately how many insureds that agent deals with. You could fill that field in. However, there is no reporting on that. That would just be in this window here. In the top right corner, we have a section for statements. So if this is a customer that you won't be sending a statement to, then you would want to send it to none. So in our example here, such as State Farm, we normally would not send them a statement since we're billing them electronically. So in their case, we would want to change it to none. If it is a customer that you would want to send a statement out each month for what they owe you, then you would leave it on statements. And then some customers prefer to have the invoices that you're billing them for on the statement also sent along with the statement. So if you have that situation, you'd pick the statements and invoices option. If you're going to be charging finance charges on late payments, you'll need to make sure to check the Calc Finance box. The next box there, the terms, you would set the terms for this customer. The standard terms are already in here. So if you have different terms for this particular customer than what's listed, you would need to make sure to set those up in the configuration manager. In fact, any of the fields that have the drop-down menus here can be set up in the configuration manager by going to Admin in configuration. Also, the terms in the configuration manager are where you would set up the amount that you want to charge for finance charges should a customer be late. So just checking the Calc Finance box is not enough for setting up your late payment charges. You'll also need to make sure to go into the Administrator module and on the particular terms set what the rate is going to be. Next is the customer type. This is really only important on insurance companies. If the customer type is not set to either insurance or network, then you won't get a button for a claim option to be able to put in the claim information. Any other type of customer, it's not as important that you pick the specific customer type. However, many of the reports in Main Street allow you to sort by this customer type, so it'll allow you to get better detail on your reports if you want to be able to run a report on just your dealerships that you did work for instance. You'd want to make sure then that all your dealership customers have their customer type set to dealership. The EDI code drop down is going to already be populated for you with all of the various insurance companies that do billing through EDI. There are both Lynx as well as Safelite accounts in here. You'll notice that the Safelite insurance companies have the program ID at the end, and then the Lynx ones do not. If you do not find the specific insurance company that you're setting up in this list, you can contact Main Street and we will help you determine which EDI code to use, or if one needs to be set up manually, we can walk you through that process. As a general rule, if the company that you're setting up goes through Lynx network, then in the list here you can choose either Lynx or Lynx network. Either one will work. However, if they're billing through Safelite, this is not true. You do not want to use the generic Safelite. You'll want to check your dispatch, and on that dispatch should be listed a program ID. If you find another company in the list with that same program ID, such as 09024, let's say, even though the name may be different, you can still use that EDI code. The name is not what's important, it's the program ID. So as long as that program ID matches, you can use it. Again though, if you're not sure, it's best to give us a call here at Main Street and we'll let you know. The credit limit allows you to set a credit limit for the particular customer. This is used only if you have the accounts receivable module. It will check to see what their outstanding balance is and check it against that credit limit. If the invoice you're about to create will put them over the credit limit, then it will give you a warning that they are over their credit limit. However, it will not prevent you from saving the job as an invoice. Affiliation field is again another field that is not really utilized in the software anymore. It was originally designed to help track the insurance agents, but there is a different way of tracking them in the program now than what this would have done. So generally you can just leave that blank. Date activated is simply today's date when we're setting up this account. Over to the left we've got a notes box. This is just normally seen in this window, just any notes you want to keep on file about this particular account. However, if you have some specific notes that you need to make sure get printed anytime you do a job for this account, such as no deliveries between the hours of 12 and 2, or make sure to go to the south entrance, or anything like that, then you could type in those notes and then check the print notes option. In the instructions window, these would be special instructions for your CSR, such as always make sure to get a PO before creating a work order. Those instructions can then be typed into that area. And then the other thing you may want to do is check the pop-up box. And again, what that will do is when you put this customer on a ticket, it will automatically pop those instructions up on the screen so that they don't miss them. Back over to the right, we have this required fields button. If there are certain fields that you want to make sure that are filled out on your ticket before this job is either put into a work order or an invoice, we can require fields for this specific customer by clicking on the Required Fields button. Up here is the type. So if we only want this warning or requirement on, say, an invoice, we could pick invoice. If we want this warning for any type of job, whether it be a quote, work order, or invoice, then we would just leave it on any. And then we would check mark either the required field or the warning field for any of the things listed here to the left. A required field means that the job will not be able to be saved until that requirement is met. A warning message would obviously just give a warning on the screen for the CSR as they're saving the ticket that that particular field is not filled in, but would not prevent them from saving the job as a work order or invoice or whatever they're trying to save it as. In the bottom right corner, we have our price level section. So if this particular customer has specific pricing that you've set up in the price level section, you can select that here so that whenever this customer is selected, it will go immediately to their pricing. If a particular account maybe has several different price levels set up, then you can go down to the next line, select the next price level that you want for that particular customer. And if you have multiple price levels set up for this customer, obviously there usually would be one price level in particular that would be used most of the time. You can choose the set as default if that's the case. If there's only one price level, you do not need to check the set as default option. As far as taxes go, by default, this account will be using whatever default sales tax you have set up in the system already. If they get taxed differently, you would come into this tax tab and you would select which tax they're to be charged. If they're tax exempt, you'll then want to go down to the tax exempt drop down and pick the appropriate tax exempt reason. Again, these can be set up, more can be set up in the configuration manager. And then the tax ID box is where you can keep track of the tax ID number for this particular account. After you have all the information set up that you'd like to set up for this particular account, go up to the top and choose Save. Now that we have the account set up, we can use that account on any ticket that we're going to do for them. When we start a new ticket, we notice that the cash customer account is highlighted. So if we were going to use a different account other than the cash one that we already have on file, we would simply type in their information. Or on the bill to side, if it's a bill to, such as our State Farm that we did earlier, we would simply highlight the word same, type in part of the name, hit enter. Here's our pop-up note that we had set up. The CSR can't continue until they choose OK on this note. You'll notice also in the top right corner, the price level changed to the State Farm price level from the cash price level that was originally there. And because we set this account up as an insurance company, we also have this claim button down here at the bottom. Previously, when it was set to same, that button was not available, but it was also set to details. So any non-insurance car would have the details option, which would allow for certain generic information, but not insurance information. And that's how you set up an account customer.